Hi, everyone, and welcome again to my audiovisual channel. My name is Gabriela Handal. I'm a draftsman and your host for this podcast, A Conversation About Art. With these conversations, I'm doing long-term research on the meaning of art and beauty through conversations with colleagues in different artistic fields. Today, I bring you episode 121 with artist Raul Campos. And if you enjoy this video, please like, share, comment, all the videos and subscribe because all of these actions are very helpful. You can even help further by checking out the links in the video description. So, Raul, welcome very much to A Conversation About Art. You are episode 121. Please tell our listeners and viewers who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Gabriela. Well, I'm Raul Campos, and I'm a Mexican painter. Mainly, my style is, well, I call it neo-baroque because it's a bit kind of baroque with some contemporary elements. My studies were mainly in the Angel Academy in Florence and in the Nerdroom School. So I spent quite a time in Europe. And then a couple of years back, I came back to Mexico. So that's a brief resume of me.
Okay. So would you tell me a little bit about Baroque and why you refer to your as neo-Baroque? So like what, after telling me what is Baroque exactly, because I'm not entirely sure that I understand, like I wouldn't be able to describe it to you really, I don't think. But then what elements of Baroque do you keep for your work? And also, since you said that you also studied with Nerdrum, with Art Nerdrum, what elements of his style, the kitsch style, what elements of his work do you bring into your own?
Yeah, well, mainly of the Baroque period of the Baroque. I try to keep this like sentimentalism and a bit of saturation of elements, and kind of the palette, which is a bit dark and all that. And from Nerdroom, mainly the storytelling. In my current work is more like I think that's what I keep from Nerdroom. Also the preparations and some colors. I try to keep like a limited palette, to represent like my stories.
Okay. So the saturation that you say is Baroque. Does that mean just kind of like a lot of details in the images? Like, because I certainly relate that to Baroque and maybe Rococo. I think that it's characterized by kind of like a lot of details, like the frilly dresses and flowers and braids and a lot of tiny details that it's so much detail that it becomes a little bit busy. And I think saturated is the right word for that because it becomes saturated with a lot of detail and information in the painting and maybe sometimes even a little overwhelming. Is that what that means?
Yeah. That's how I view it. And in my way, I try to add like pans, pots, fish, tattoos and lampposts, so it becomes like saturated, but of another kind of elements, like a bit more contemporary.
Okay, so then the information that you would populate your painting with would be more like maybe a cell phone, something like that, like more modern objects. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, not cell phone, because not a cell phone, like more like landscape contemporary elements, like street lamps or
Yeah, okay.
I know these phrases in the tattoos that say like live forever, or this, those kinds of elements. I know.
Okay. And okay, so I think you also used sentimental or sentimentality.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, so what does that mean?
Well, I try to get the viewer to feel something, maybe, take a break from life in a way, like watching a movie. And I think that's what Baroque did quite well. And also some of Nerdrum paintings, which you see, and then there's the story, and you can get transported into those worlds,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so um okay, just give me a minute.
No, that's fine.
So so are you trying to get your viewer to feel something specific, or with so I don't know, if you think about the painting with the three individuals that you have behind, for
Yeah.
example, like
Oh,
are you trying to get your
yeah.
viewer, or four people, are you trying to get your viewer to feel something specific, or so the sentimentality, like the feeling, or are you trying to get your viewer to just feel anything at all, regardless of whether they understand specifically what you meant painting? Does that matter
Yeah, I
to
think
you?
it's more like feeling in general, like because I think understanding becomes a bit complex since we are very different people, all of us, and everybody has like their own world. So they're gonna have their own interpretation of the painting, but maybe it's something that it awakens something personal, like a memory. And I think if I manage that, it's like I made my goal in a way. But not I'm not trying to make them feel like pain or anger or anguish. It's more like general, just like kind of empathize with the painting, if that makes sense.
Yes. Okay, so I mean, would you say in that case that you're trying to get the viewer to feel something positive?
No, just something
Okay.
like it's
Uh,
very general. But I mean, I do think it's important, like for paintings to try to capture this aspect of the humans. Because nowadays with technology and cell phone, social media, I think we were saturated. Our brains are just like full of crap. Sorry for that.
no, I agree. That's fine. You can swear. It's fine.
Okay, okay.
Um, okay. So, all right. So, an aspect of, I mean, as far as I understand, I don't, I can't say that I understand kitsch, like Odd Nerdrum's whole thing really very well
Well,
at all.
I wouldn't call myself kitsch.
Yeah, but
I
but
don't.
but you do bring elements from his, what he teaches, and right?
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, so then is sentiment? Well, no, not some. Actually, no. That's not what I wanted to ask you about, because I think part rather of his whole thing is rather like a universality of subject matter, and I mean, um I think the feeling, or trying to kind of conjure a feeling in the viewer is part of that universality, because I mean, the feelings that humans feel are the same. I mean, humans, nobody has
Yeah,
like a exception emotion, like everybody feels anger, everybody feels happiness at some point in
yeah,
some way.
yeah.
So
Correct.
okay, so why is it that you want to have like more modern manifestations of modernity, like the tattoos, like the lampposts, like this type of stuff? Why do you want to have that stuff in your paintings?
Well, I would say like my paintings, my style, as I think as everyone is still like in transition, like it's transitioning because I'm in this search of finding not my style because I wouldn't say a style, but like this honesty,
Mm,
in my work that represents who I am, my landscapes, or and the things I see every day, but not like literally, like I at least not now, maybe later, but at least right now I want to keep it like subtle. And I think that's what many of the painters did back in the day. If you see Rembrandt, he many paintings of his had like this contemporary clothing from his epoch, or
sure, yeah.
Titian, or they dressed. But right now, I think we are caught up in this idea of trying to make paintings look like how they dressed
Hmm.
instead of trying to adapt that idea with contemporary clothing. So that's what I'm trying to do in small sense,
Hmm. Yes. Okay, but then why wouldn't you have something like a cell phone in a painting?
Oh, because I hate them. I
Uh-huh.
think that's a personal thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. Because I mean, I agree that um painting does, art in general, as part of its role in a way, has this not the obligation or the duty, but it does it by default of kind of recording the contemporary things, like the
Yeah,
way, like like people's dress and people's appearance and the objects and everything. But um I guess I've definitely had several people who do consider themselves kitsch artists, and and um they don't want to have any kind of modern signal, I guess, kind of in the work, because they don't want to
yeah,
date the work. Like, they want the work to be universal in the sense that universal and timeless, in the sense that in the future, when cell phones as we know them don't even exist anymore, those people will be able to understand the work and not have to have no history first or something.
yeah. No, I mean, I spent a couple of years with Odd,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I like I understand that, and I think it's like I think it's fine, but in a way, I don't think it's my because right now, like if you see Bruegel's paintings, right, or Hieronymus Bosch, I mean, we don't really understand most of the things that happen
Yeah, that's
because
true.
but they're very interesting, and I
Sure.
think you're like fascinated by the things that back in the day were like the norm.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's nice as just to represent a bit of your time because
Sure.
if you live like if you're angry with the age you were born in, it becomes very hard to exist, I think. So it's better to just embrace it and just try to make something out of it, no?
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with, I mean, I can see the argument in both. I mean, I can see the reason in both arguments. And I mean,
Yeah,
I completely agree with you about cell phones, because I don't think they're attractive objects or anything.
no.
I hate how they're just everywhere and how everyone is looking at them, even if they're walking their dog or something. I fucking hate that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's terrible.
yeah, I hate how sometimes I'm just sitting there looking at it, like I don't like that, so I don't want to, it's like, I don't want to see that information in a painting.
No.
Um, and, but, like at the same time, I can see the argument for removing, for like dating the paint, for like kind of pinning the painting down in a time. But at the same time, I mean, like you were saying, it's like, Hieronymus Bosch or Bruegel or these guys, it's like, what was really their intention? What did they mean with the work? But at the
Yeah,
same, but like at the same time, it's like, in order to be able to appreciate a work of art and to spend time with the work of art, contemplating, you don't have to understand, like, this is what you were saying, like, you don't have to understand the work of art. You don't have to understand the times. You don't have to know who the artist was. None of
yeah,
this stuff. Or at least that's what I think, because I think that if you need that information in order to understand a work of art, then the work is flawed. That, to me,
yeah.
that's a problem.
I mean, because if you see one of like example Hieronymus Bosch's painting, like you feel something. I mean,
Right.
you don't know what, but it's something. It's just
Confusion.
like yeah, confusion. It's a feeling, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's. I mean, in the end, the art in general has to just. I think that's their main goal. To just get you out of your comfort zone in a way. Just to wake you up from life. Because I think we as humans are very troubled by existence. So it's kind of like a rest in a way, or like a reminder, as I said, like, that to be present for that moment, at least that you're seeing this handmade object by a craftsman.
Okay, and how do you think a work of art does that?
Well, see, this is when it becomes very complicated because many people say it has to have like technique or, figurative work. But I also like abstract paintings. So it's not, I think you can see it with honest work, which with when the painter or artist doesn't really just being himself. And I think like Nerdrum is just himself. He paints the things. He invented that way of painting, right? And that's why he's so convincing and moving. or but you can see that in Antonio Lopez or many other painters. Like, in the United States is full of great painters. Steven
Sure.
Asael, Vincent Desiderio. Anyways, I feel it's very honest work, and but it's not because it's figurative. It's just because I think they're really convinced in what they're doing is, if that makes any sense.
That does make sense. Stephen Assail, it reminds me because I mean he taught me drawing at the New York Academy, and I
Yeah.
saw some of his work in person. And actually, he has a painting with one of the models with a cell phone in her hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I hate this painting. I hated the entire painting just because so the painting is like a frontal view of the model. She's like sitting there, and she has the phone on her lap, and she's just sitting there with the
Yeah.
phone on her lap. And I'm just like, I wish that was not there.
No, but it's a good critique, I think. So,
No, I mean it's not. I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, Stephen Assail, you're not. I mean, he can obviously paint whatever he wants, And actually, this whole thing about what to paint, like the subject matter, I've been thinking about that because I'm reading a book called The Judgment of Paris by Ross King, and it
okay.
talks about this period of time, like towards the end of the Salon, the French Salon, when Manet showed his work and he pissed everyone off and whatever. And so there was this whole thing about how the École des Beaux-Arts kind of dictated what art was superior. There was like the hierarchy of the painting of historical painting was like the superior sort of painting, this type of stuff. And they wanted the paintings to depict historical scenes, mythological scenes that could like give a positive moral lesson to the viewer. So I like, I think it's pertinent to what we're talking about because we're talking about subject matter, and how that works on the viewer. And like I both agree and disagree with that because I think the output of the artist should be the best the artist can do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, it's like your fullest potential is what you should be doing. It's like you should do the best work that you can with each painting that you make. But at the same time, I think that if the viewer has to know the history, it's like what we were talking about just now. If the viewer has to know the history of the country or the Greek mythology or whatever, then that, I don't think that's necessary for a work of art to bring a positive experience. I don't know. What do you think about that?
It was kind of like church paintings, like this, because their goal was to create like fear, to elevate you in this celestial way of, it's kind of the salon that you were saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
religious painting too.
Yeah, it becomes very subjective because what's the best you can do, and the thing is that becomes like the Sisyphus myth, you're just working endlessly towards, and that's the painter's life. I think I don't think if it's on purpose, but you always try to make your best work, and you hate it after you finish it, and then you create another one, and then you hate it. But if you have like a goal, like I want to make people. I don't know, like my case, feel something. But then at least you have like a tangible goal. Like these guys, they wanted to create fear, and so you have to create a fantastic Jesus Christ, and it just has to, and that creates like a goal, even if it's not a real goal. So I think that's kind of important, at least for the painters, not for the audience, because I mean they don't know the struggles you're dealing with,
It's not. I don't think it's their problem.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I think if you have like this goal, even if it's ridiculous, it becomes like easier to create work, because if your only goal is to create the best work you can, that becomes like you can go crazy.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about art specifically here. So
Yeah.
So I had you, and thank you for writing a little bit about what your thoughts on art and beauty are.
Yeah.
And just a moment, please. So, okay, so for art, you told me that, well, I mean, and you've been saying this thing this whole time about, well, you didn't say this exactly, that art is expression.
Yeah.
And then, and then this ties to what you have been saying. You have been saying this whole time that you want the viewer to feel something. So, so then, so, okay, just give me a minute. Um, so what is the work of art an expression of?
Well, humanity, I think.
Okay.
Like, well, right now it's being like very debated if AI can create art or not, you know. But
Well, let's just stick to humans that
yeah,
make art,
exactly.
not.
But I don't think that's art. I think
Right,
art is
sure.
human,
Yeah.
and I think things that connect you with your humanity are like art. You know, like good music, good food. I think that the art of the cooking art. You know,
Sure.
like I think that's art is an expression of humanity, and as I said, like an expression of, well, a way of being present. You know.
Okay. All right. So, what would you say is another example of a manifestation of a person's humanity?
Besides art,
Yes.
well, their emotions. I
Uh huh.
think
Okay. So,
because I mean it's our whole history we've been trying to make sense of humanity. I think maybe that's a human trait. Like we've been trying to figure out what are we doing here. You know,
mhm.
I think religion, philosophy, all of that. And right now, well, science is like kind of the new thing, and because we are not really sure, like what are we doing here? Like some people say we're just here to live, reproduce, and die. You know, but then becomes art, and art makes no sense because you do this thing that really doesn't have like a purpose for survival. Like if you don't paint, if you don't have paintings in your wall, you're not gonna die, you know. But in a way, we have always valued art or painting at least, or music, like above many other things. So I think it's another of the human necessities, even if many people try to avoid it. I mean, since the cave paintings,
Yeah.
there was a way of art,
Yeah. Yeah. But I
maybe.
mean, isn't it then inaccurate to say that we don't need it or that it has no purpose?
Well, I'm saying is we don't need it like food. Like if you don't have it, you die, like literally, but maybe mentally you die. So yeah, probably it's inaccurate to say we don't need it. I think we need it spiritually. You know?
Right. Okay. I just, it's this isn't really very related or anything, but it bothers me when somebody said, and I'm not saying this is what you think necessarily, but other people have told me that art is pointless. And I mean, I think Oscar Wilde himself said that art is useless. And I think Steven Pinker said that art is like cheesecake or something. I haven't read his argument, so I don't really know. But I mean,
Yeah,
I think some another book that I'm reading says that he's just saying that it's just kind of like a hedonistic secondary sort of pleasure. And it's like that makes zero sense because then why has
yeah,
it been there for so long? It's
yeah,
like
and
because it's like, if you argue that once we feel safe enough, like we have a building to live in, we have food for several days, that we feel comfortable enough to start thinking about other things, meaning that's when you start doing art or thinking about philosophy. That makes some degree of sense, except that we were doing art long before we could even arguably talk or write.
Exactly.
So then, yeah, so then it's like that means that even if we can't think of the reason why we need it, there is a reason. Just because we can't figure it out doesn't mean there's no reason. So then this also makes me think of something else that frustrates me really quite a lot, and it's how we get, humans in general, we get fixated on something. And so, like, I think that we get fixated on the religion or the philosophy, or now it's the science, oh my God, so rational and stuff. And then it's like we think that science is only kind of like the physical, like the physical, the numbers, the blood work, the exercise, or something like that. And we don't consider that there's this whole system within that doesn't have the same kind of manifestation. And we are completely disregarding that stuff. I mean, we try to address it with like wellness or whatever, but that barely touches the surface of whatever might be there. Nikola Tesla has this really great quote that I like a lot. And it says something about how if we started to study, like with the scientific method approach, if we started to study those kind of things that are paranormal or supernatural, like with a scientific approach, we would make leaps and bounds. Like, we would advance so much. I mean, I'm ranting, but I guess I get frustrated when I remember that there's people that legitimately think that art has no purpose. And I think that's a problem because a lot of people are missing out on having it in their life. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's a tragedy. I mean, what I meant with not having a purpose, maybe I meant more like as I said, like if you don't have it in your house, you're not gonna die of starvation. But it is a necessity because it's been with us humans since we're like, modern humans. It's just a part of humanity. We do art, and some people do it and some people don't, which is, and then there's the debate of if it's a genius, if you're a genius, or you have it like in your blood, or you learn it, and then it's another
That's
debate,
Kant.
Yes, Kantian, yeah, God bless him. Well, I don't like that guy, and but at least that I got from the nerdroom school. I don't like
Yes.
Kant. It's just crazy, especially because he never left his town, and that's another story. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah,
So
no,
no.
I
Tell
do
me.
think
Sorry.
people. And I've noticed it a lot here in Mexico because, I mean, it's strange, but there's like this like admiration for painters, which I didn't felt in Europe. Even if in Europe you have better painters or more like museums or more culture, and maybe that's why, because it's so saturated by things. People just are like they don't give the importance to it, especially figurative painting. I feel like, at least in Florence where I was, like galleries were selling more like contemporary painting, because they're like, yeah, we have the Uffizi. Why would I sell like a copy of that? But in here, it's since there's not that much culture. I think people are still like in this need to get like their fix of art, which
Okay.
is fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, I think people should buy art. Yeah.
Yes.
Or consume it.
But I think that even if somebody doesn't have like explicitly a work of art in their home, like a painting or a sculpture or a drawing, like in a frame or something, I think that, and this is, I mean, I kind of get this from Roger Scruton, and I agree with him in the sense that you still want to decorate your house.
Yeah,
You
nice
still want to,
colors.
yeah, you wanna make it pretty, and you want to make it, you want to make it homey, if you feel like a home and stuff. And the way that you do that is by, I mean, sometimes it involves art, for, the framed painting and this type of stuff, but other times it involves little figurines or like little tiny, like the decorations that, the plants, this type of stuff, books, like a bookshelf, this type of, and
Yeah.
I think that is like you're saying, like a manifestation of humanity, in the sense that you want that we certainly seem to want to make the box that we occupy feel like something else than a box, because a home isn't just a building. It's
No,
like
it's
I don't know the difference. Like, I can't tell you what the difference is, but I know that there is a difference.
yeah.
So I think, yeah. So I mean, do you agree with that? Do you think that a person wanting to make their house into a home, is that also like a manifestation, like an expression of humanity as well, the same way that art is?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, architecture back in the day was
Yes.
considered an art, I mean, right now it's been industrialized, so you have like the same model of apartment 100 times, but still people wanna get this nice chair, this nice carpet, have this personal, unique space. Because I think humans want to be unique. I think that's one of our things. We want to have and art sometimes becomes that, like, no, I have this painting that you will never have, or like this
Sure.
competition, because it represents your personality. But in a way, it's the same, because you're making your home your work of art. Even if you don't produce art, if you collect art, it's like an art of collection. So,
Yes.
or objects, or nice pots, or vases. You can collect anything, and you can make it look aesthetically pleasing, and then you feel, that's what I mean, you feel like something, you feel like happiness. Or so we go back to this thing that I think art is makes you feel something, and making you feel something. It has to make you feel something. Yeah, so that's sorry.
Okay, no, no, not a problem. We're both doing it. So okay, so I think that the different fields, kind of, I guess, that we're talking about, because we have like visual art, which is what we do, and then we have um,
Yeah,
decorating a home. We have architecture. I think there's a commonality in them, and I think it is related, because okay, so the word art comes from, I don't remember what, I think it's Greek, from the word ars, which means to make something with skill.
yeah,
So skillfully, like, so you have to know that the thing looks right. There's like skill in kind of making those deliberate decisions so that your end result looks correct.
yeah.
Um,
No, it's
and yeah, and I
true.
mean, I like that a lot, and I think it's applicable to like all of the things that we're talking about, because I agree about the abstract work, because of course there's, like a blank canvas is not art or an abstract work. I don't think, and I don't think it's good.
I know.
You also need skill in order to make an abstract painting. Um, and I mean, I don't know. Does that seem right? That like the there's kind of like this active engagement on the part of the individual, an active relationship between the individual and the object, whether it's the canvas, whether it's the room they're decorating. I mean, they're actively involved in making specific changes to the
Yeah,
object so that it looks in a specific way that feels correct to the person. Does that seem right?
yeah, yeah. It's like when you move furniture around, you're trying to
Sure,
to
yeah.
to place it in a way it makes sense for you, even if it's completely off for someone else.
Hmm. But I think I'm not sure that's entirely right, because why do I think that? I guess because I don't think we're really that different. I mean, there is, of course, there is some individualization between. It's like, you're gonna like a slightly different thing than the one that I like, but the object itself is like the same, for example. And for example,
Yeah,
if we're
a chair is a chair.
yeah. So, but then also when we talk about decorating, for example, if we're talking about where we're going to place the chair, you might like it, for example, all right? It might not be like an exact example, but it's like kind of like what I'm thinking about. You might like it a little bit to the left, and then I might like it a little bit to the right, something like that. But then
Yeah.
the general area, you know, like I feel like I just have the impression that the things that humans appreciate are really a lot more cross-cultural than we like to think. Um, and I just like the idea of that a lot. And I
No, I
mean,
mean we have the same feelings as you said before, so I think
right,
that creates like kind of a unity
yes.
in the way we try to approach. Well, there's an example like this the Japanese culture that
Mm-hmm.
they like I don't know exactly which parts of Japan are in, but that they use like houses in a different way, that they sit in the floor or these type of
Right.
things that in Western culture would be like not so common, you know. Like if I had like my living room without chairs, people would be like, why are you doing that? You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's I think that those are the difference that I'm talking about, like more
Yes,
like.
yes. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But it's I mean, it's strange because I do think your language, in a way, the way you speak, like dictates a bit the way you think, because that's your interpretation of. Like many languages have different ways of expressing the past, the future, the present,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that changes your view on many things. I was talking to this friend; he's a philosopher, and he was telling me like, yeah, language Spanish, for example, is a very religious language. It's a very Catholic language. So, you know, because of the way some words are like created. And I was, and then it got me to thinking. And then it was this saying like, for example, the English or some languages, they don't have like this future tense like in Spanish, so similar. Like they're more like I don't know how you say this, but you are more like present. No, that's not the word. But in Spanish, we have like this way of talking about the future. Like if it was very far away, and I think in other languages you don't feel the future as far away. If that makes any sense whatsoever, and I think that creates a differences in your way of living or your way of I don't know approaching the
Um,
world.
can you give me an example? And can you just like say it in English of the thing in
Like
Spanish?
okay, so like how will you say that like I'm just thinking of an example that makes like very punctual
Mm-hmm.
sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I sorry, it's just like a brain freeze.
Did your friend give you an example?
Yeah, no, we talked about this for a long time, but sometimes when you try to recall things, it's just your brain freezes.
Yes.
It's, but it's more like the like for example, no, actually, right now I can't really think of an example, which is very sad because it was very interesting.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me like over email or something because I'm like so curious. But okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Sorry, it's because right
No,
now,
no,
like,
no
since I'm
problem.
in English mode, like my Spanish just like gets like.
You have to tell me over email because I'm pretty curious. Okay. All right. So let's talk about beauty now. Um.
Yeah,
And okay. So you said something about how beauty. You said something that beauty fills the soul. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
think so.
So what does that mean?
Well, I think going back to the conversation, like for example, when we try to make this room like beautiful, it's well not beautiful, but you could say beautiful for us
Mhm.
because in a way it makes us feel like at peace. So and that's why we decorate things because kind of makes like if you were like in a jail cell, which is very ugly, you would feel like this despair kind of which is the point of it. They make you feel like this and because if I say if a jail cell was like very beautiful like with paintings and beautiful carpets, it wouldn't be like so much like a prison you know so I think beauty kind of makes us feel like whole in a way you know
Mhm.
like a very nice garden. I mean it's just it gives you some this feeling of you're just happy, just at peace.
Yes.
Or
Um,
nature in a way, it's just nature is just beautiful in its mystic way,
yes. Okay, but and I mean I understand what you're saying, but
yeah.
I guess I want to like more explicitly describe the things that you're talking about. So 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 how do you think that the feeling that you're talking about could be described? Because I mean I think the peaceful, like the sense of peace is good. I mean that makes sense because okay, so tell me what you think about this, okay?
Yeah.
So for example, I mean it could be applicable to the image that you're working on, like the painting that you're working on, or the room that you're decorating, because like I was saying, musing about earlier, you move things around or you make the line like this and you make your colors like this or whatever until it feels right.
Yeah.
And so that feeling right comes when you achieve a certain order, a certain arrangement of the parts in a way. What that way is, I don't know, because you have to get there kind of by moving things around.
Yeah.
So then, does it seem right that whether on the canvas or in the room, there was like a chaotic sort of feeling, and now there's this order that feels correct and it feels orderly? So then, that absence of chaos is what brings like the calm, peaceful feeling. Does that seem right? Do you think that's accurate?
Well, it's complicated because some like there's some beauty in chaos and messy studios or messy paintings like Pollock or uh, so I don't know if that would be my like because I think beauty is a very hard thing to describe because I might find like I believe the Apple people find the iPhone beautiful, I just
Uh
find
huh.
it but because it's very neat and very orderly and I wouldn't say beauty is order because I don't think like I mean order is fine, but I don't think it's like it's not like I don't know how I don't think it would be it's very organic. Like order is kind of like like when you constrain something. But I feel, but that's for me. So maybe well the thing is I don't, it's very hard to call your paintings like your own paintings beautiful. Because I don't know if that's what you try to achieve. It's beauty. Sorry, I'm just very
No, no. Yeah, keep going where you're going.
so yeah, I think there's a beauty in your attempt to paint, but not in the painting itself, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I would but then other people might call your painting beautiful. So it's complicated. But I think I don't know. I'm that's a when you asked me like tell me what you think like about beauty, it was very hard because I don't know how to pinpoint it, to because I think beauty is like a very complex thing. It's like describing God,
Sure.
How would you describe something that you feel but you don't really see, Because I mean, you could say, okay, this garden is beautiful, or this bird, eating like this insect. I don't know. It's like very beautiful, or
Hmm.
the rain is beautiful. But why? I mean, it's like because it's just water falling from the sky to and what's the. But there's a sense of. I mean, there's a feeling that it gives you of of peace. I think it's maybe peace is not the word I'm searching for, but that's the one I have right now. But it gives you this calm, this like the smell of the rain.
Hmm.
Would you say that's beautiful? Like
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, but it's how would you? It's just how would you describe that?
Okay. Okay. So what about this? Tell me what do you think about this? All right. So I can agree with what you're saying about how order isn't necessarily what brings beauty to whatever.
Yeah,
But because I mean, at least I associate like pure order sort of with, for example, like a minimalist building. For example, like those are just a box and like the windows are just a square, the facade is flat. It doesn't have
yeah,
like the point like that, something like that. So I think I don't know if that is pure order necessarily, but um, I, um, like I guess for the sake of the argument, I'm going to think of something like that as pure order. I think those buildings are ugly as shit. Okay, they're ugly. I don't
yeah.
like them, and I think they don't feel welcoming. They're like the opposite of beautiful, something like that. Um, but I still think that there's some degree because, for example, like I like the example of the nature examples a lot because I think there is. I mean, it's just everywhere. Beauty is just everywhere if you look at nature. And yeah, like the rain
Yeah.
and the smell, the way the way the ground smells after it rains, or just like the way the air feels while it's raining, the appearance of the rain. So okay, so then if we're thinking about nature, if we're thinking about nature in general, just like in general, um, as far as we know, so far, this planet is the only one, as far as we know, that has life
Yeah.
like this. So I think so the life resulting in the way that we know it here, like because it's bustling with life.
Yeah.
It's a result of a little bit of order in the chaos.
Yeah, it's a perfect
Because
mixture.
huh?
Yeah,
What?
the perfect mixture of elements, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like I mean the way that you get I mean one of the ways in which you get the perfect mixture of elements is by making all the mixtures you can think of at random, chaotically, the way that the universe is.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to get the right mixture. It's just a matter of time. And so, like, the way that life has resulted throughout time in this planet as we know it is kind of that way, or at
Yeah.
least to some extent that way. And the thing about chaos is that and the universe is that it contains everything, meaning that because it contains everything, it also contains order.
Yeah.
So then,
I mean,
right?
yeah, no. Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of like I'm trying to like kind of muse about something based on what you were talking about, because I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you that pure order isn't necessarily what brings beauty to a space, because like, I don't know, if you look at like the Versailles and like the really sumptuous decorations at the Met, for example, of the French rooms and this type of stuff. I mean, that does not look orderly to me. That it's very full of
Yeah.
detail, a lot of flourish, but it's very enjoyable. I mean, I would love to have some of that stuff in like in our apartment, you know?
Yeah.
because it's beautiful. It's like all of that. So then, I mean, I'm like, I just think that some order removes the overwhelming chaos, and then that's what makes it possible to have that sense of peace. Because I do think there is, like, I agree with you on that sense, that there is a sense of peace or
Yeah.
calm. Because, and the reason, and this is definitely applicable when you're looking at a work of art, because you have to stop. It's like if the work conjures that in you, you have to stop and spend time with the work. And then
Yeah.
you're just there in the moment with the work, enjoying the work. And then, does this make any sense?
No, yes, I agree. Yes. I mean, in a way, order gives you I think the necessary contrast for you to appreciate chaos,
Mm-hmm.
which in it, and then then you find beauty. Like I think beauty is just in between those, you know,
Okay.
that place of.
Yes.
I don't know who was the painter who said like a masterpiece is just a painting who's about to collapse, but it doesn't. So it's just
Uh-huh.
beautiful. And I think it's kind of like that, like this mixture of, because if you didn't have these orderly ugly buildings, I don't think you would appreciate as much the French salons or the French rooms, right? Because you have the contrast, and maybe that's the beauty, like this balance between excessive and nothing. It's just
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. I definitely think that um they're both present in really, like, both examples, like in the example of art and in the example of nature, like the rain that you're talking about. Because it's like, rain is great and everything, but you can still, I mean, rain can still be scary and terrifying and chaotic. Because it's like, if
yeah.
it's
If it
right.
rained the whole time, you wouldn't appreciate it as much if it just rains sometimes, and then that moment of the rain you appreciate it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's this contrast of having it and then not having it, I guess.
Yes.
Like winter and spring and summer.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Campos, we have broken the 50-minute mark of our conversation, so I'm going to
Oh yeah,
start
sorry.
to. Oh, no problem. It was, I mean, it went by very quickly. Um, it's an hour isn't very long after all. So, but I'm going to start to close it out. And
Yeah.
is there anything you want to add? Do you want to talk about any projects you have coming up? Where can people find your work?
Like in my Instagram, of course. Like I think you'll put the link on
Yes.
the website. But well, right now I'm in this moment where I stopped a bit, trying to get like an exposition. It's more like I'm trying to make my paintings work, because I have this nerd room, you know, way of thinking in my head, but I also have like the Angel Academy, but I also like very contemporary work, and I'm also trying to mix it with my culture. So right now I'm in this moment where I'm trying to just paste everything together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'll see that evolution like in Instagram. I would think. So
Okay.
that would be what the moment, like what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, that sounds great, and it sounds like a really interesting project to try to have all those things together
Mm. I know.
in your work.
Hope it doesn't kill me.
No, no, you'll do fine. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start to close it out. And um, thank you, Raul, for talking with me today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you want to support Raul and my podcast, you can do so through the links in the video description. His Instagram is going to be in the video description, and so will his website. So make sure to go ahead and look at those links down there. So thank you again, everyone, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.